Are you ready to stop obsessing over your ex and get over the heartbreak at last? In this video, I'm going to give you all the tools that you need so you can start doing exactly that. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something that most of us can relate to, heartbreak. Now, whether you're going through heartbreak right now or it's something that you've experienced in the past, I want you to know that I understand what you're going through. I know how difficult it can be to be going through the cycle of endless grief, experiencing the sleepless nights, the constant overthinking, constantly going back and forth into those memories and dreaming about what could have been or what should have been, maybe what you could have done differently to change the outcome of where you are right now. I know how difficult these emotions can be to navigate, and in this video I really want to give you the tools to help navigate them and turn the situation into something positive. In fact, my goal is by the end of this video that you're going to not only have a better understanding of how to go through this process and deal with those emotions, but also that you're going to be able to turn this into an opportunity to learn and grow and feel like you have a bit more power over this situation. So let's start with the most crucial aspect of this process, which is the evaluation of the relationship. We often romanticize the past and conveniently forget all of the things that were going wrong in that relationship that caused it to end in the first place. This can be quite a dangerous place to be in because it gets you stuck in a loop of feeling like you're hopeless and there's not much that you can do to fix the situation, and the future ahead is only going to be bleak. So to get this step started, I would really like you to take some time to pause this video and reflect on some questions that I'm going to give you. I want you to consider these questions and really reflect on them from an honest place. It's really important that you try to be as objective as possible when you're answering these things and try and look back within yourself at the experiences that you are having so you can gain the most clarity from this experience. Question number one, did this person truly see your value? And if they did, do you believe that they would actually have walked away from you in the first place? This question is really important. It's important to reflect on the reasons why you brought value to that relationship and how important it is to you that that person sees that value within you. It's really important to recognize that if somebody truly sees your value and your worth, they're able to recognize that that value is important enough for them to stick around, even if things aren't necessarily going perfectly all the time. Question number two is, did this person provide the space for you to express and experience love authentically? Did they speak to you in a way that you like to be spoken to? Did they receive you? Did they hold space for you to show all the different sides of yourself? Do they have similar love languages to you, where they express things in the same way and receive things in the same way that you did? Three, did you feel during your relationship, particularly in the stages towards the end, that you were truly valued by your partner? Or did you feel like you were often being overlooked and taken for granted? Number four, do you feel, knowing the value that you have to bring to a relationship, that you should have to convince somebody to stay with you and to be in a relationship with you? Did you feel like you would have to convince this person to see your worth, or did they just see it already? Question number five is, was there an equal effort from both sides to work through problems in the relationship? Or was it one-sided? Was there an equal desire to fix things and to find that common ground where you could move forward and grow together as a team? Or was that teamwork not really happening so much anymore towards the end? As you reflect on these questions, you might start to realize some of the deeper inner workings of your relationship and how there are aspects of it that were missing essential parts that you needed. Maybe there were things that you overlooked during the relationship because of the positive experiences that you had. And it's really important that when we're going through this process of reflection, we give ourselves like a really hard, honest look at what we actually were learning from that experience and how it ending gave us an opportunity to learn about ourselves and what we want from a relationship in the first place. Although this experience can be really tough and it's really difficult to have this honest look when you're still craving that connection, that thing that you've lost, it also can give us comfort because it can start to help us realize that maybe it was for the best that this relationship ended in the first place. I'm a true believer that absolutely everything happens for a reason, but I do think that every single challenging experience that we have in life gives us an opportunity to learn and to grow and to become a higher value version of ourselves. Every painful thing that we've been through in our life, normally if we have the opportunity to reflect upon it and have that introspection, actually becomes a vehicle for growth. So the next stage of this process of healing from this breakup and getting over that broken heart is to now start to reflect on how you can learn from those experiences. After a breakup, it's really common for us to feel like everything was in vain, all the time and energy we invested, all of the vulnerability that we showed to that person, the amount of time we spent letting them get to know us and vice versa. It can really feel like that stuff was in vain when it's over. But the truth is, there's a great opportunity for us to learn from these experiences. I really feel like every partnership. So it's important to take this time to reflect and learn what it is that you gained from that experience. Once again, I've got some questions that I would like you to ponder. If you feel like pausing the video, writing these things down and coming back to it, that's absolutely fine. Or you might want to just write them down for later. This first one is reflecting on what did you learn about yourself during this relationship? Maybe you learned a new way to express love. Maybe you learned that you're capable of loving someone and giving them that energy and that time, which is a beautiful thing. Maybe you learned how nice it feels to be able to let somebody in and allow them to see you fully. Whatever it is that you learned from that relationship, it's important to reflect on the skills and the insights that you gained from that and how it allowed you to grow as a person because of that experience. It's also really important in this stage to reflect on if you have grown as a person as a result of that partnership. That doesn't mean that you have to be sad that you're letting it go, but it's really important to have gratitude and recognize what you have grown from in that relationship in yourself. The next thing I'd like you to ponder to yourself is, are there qualities that you've learned that you find attractive and that you want in a partner from this relationship? Now, this could either be because your partner wasn't doing certain things that you found yourself craving a lot in that relationship, or because there are certain things that they did that you realized you really want in a partner. So once you can start to look back and evaluate what are those qualities, you've actually gained a great bit of knowledge that you can now bring forward into future people that you meet when you're ready. And you can reflect on, if you see these qualities popping up in someone else, you know that this person has taught you from the past that that works really well for you, or it doesn't work so well for you. So this is a great opportunity for you to use that insight and take it forward into your future relationships that you'll be forming someday, whenever you're ready. And finally, the third thing is, I really want you to look back and reflect honestly. And I do believe that everybody in the early stages of their relationships, oftentimes in the first couple of months, I think you've already spotted most of the reasons that the relationship will probably end most of the time, or potentially they come out over a longer period of time when we start to get comfortable. But when I reflect back on my past relationships and those of my clients, a lot of the time there are things that come up that we ignore because we like the idea of a person and we like what they're portraying towards us and how they're carrying themselves in the way they direct their energy towards us, and we find them attractive. So we want to believe that they are the person that we want them to be. But I think this question is really important for you to ponder. What are red flags that you saw showing up throughout your relationship that you actively chose to ignore? Gut feelings that you knew were going to cause you issues in the future, things where you know you didn't quite align. Where are those things showing up for you when you look back and you reflect from an honest place? And once you do realize those things, how did you communicate around them? Did you at all try to work on those issues? Or did you just brush them under the rug and ignore them? And moving forward into future relationships, even just with friendships and people that you know in your life, how could you start to build better communication around those issues so that you can create an environment where you're with somebody who actually knows how to meet your needs and respect your boundaries? Remember that the end of this relationship does not mean that your personal growth is over. It's really beautiful if we can actually take that relationship as a vehicle for growth and for change and see all of the things that we can gain from it. This is one of the most beautiful things about a breakup. You're having an opportunity to transform, to evaluate yourself, to shape a new path. And oftentimes, after we go through that initial stage of grieving, there's a huge transformation that happens. It's a catalyst for us to start changing our lives and moving forward into something better than before. Each step we take, we're wiser, and we carry every lesson that we've learned from every single relationship into the next. Just like I said earlier, it's a stepping stone. And it's important to evaluate these things because then you won't get caught in the trap of constantly being with the same person in a different outfit, picking the same partners again and again, reliving the same traumas and the same experiences. It's really important to reflect on these things so that we can actually start to realize how we can shape a different path the next time we feel ready to connect with somebody on a romantic level. Okay, stage 3 of this process is probably one of the most challenging aspects of going through a breakup. And I think it's to really embrace the feelings of grief and the feelings of loneliness. It's important that we've reflected, we've understood what we can learn from the experience, but it's also essential that we take some time to just feel what we're feeling and allow ourselves to be in that place. We live in a society where we're taught that certain emotions are not as acceptable as others. We're taught that we always need to show happiness and joy and excitement, to always feel like everything is perfect and to really put on this kind of Instagram reel version of ourselves. But the truth is, our bodies experience every single emotion for a reason. And it's important that when we're experiencing grief, we're experiencing fear, we're experiencing anxiety, we're experiencing sadness, that we allow ourselves to go through the process with that. And loneliness is something that we need to learn to embrace, because the more we can learn to be with ourselves and be okay with being with ourselves, the less that we're going to be gravitating towards finding a partner solely to fill a void that we're not able to fill on our own. It's very common for people after a breakup to just get stuck into a mode of distracting themselves. You know, going out drinking, partying all the time, socializing, maybe sleeping around a lot, maybe just getting so stuck into work projects and just obsessing over things that maybe aren't the healthiest for you. Not with a motivation that's purely because you want to distract yourself. You want to get away from feeling lonely. You want to get away from feeling the pain of that loss. But it's really important to take a step back, to be present with your experiences and to let yourself feel what is coming up naturally. The more that you resist these things and try and push them away, the longer it's going to take for them to pass. Everything that we resist persists. So it's so important to just embrace that loneliness and actually show yourself that it's not as scary as you think it's going to be. Normally, it's the idea that's scarier than the reality. The thought of being on your own and then avoiding it like crazy because you just don't want to have to be with your thoughts, processing all these experiences and recognizing that that person isn't in your life anymore. And the truth is, a lot of the time, we go through that process, and yes, it is difficult. It's challenging, it hurts, it sucks, we cry, maybe we get angry and we scream. After you go through that process of feeling what you're feeling, there's an inevitable calm that comes because you're releasing an emotion that's been pent up in your body and wants to get out. You have to honor that and you have to allow it to be, because otherwise it's just going to fester and toxify your life for so much longer than is necessary. Like I said, we have a lot of programming from our society that really teaches us that uncomfortable emotions, even labeling them as uncomfortable emotions in itself is programming, teaching us that we should avoid certain emotions and that we need to run away from them at all costs, not show them to other people at all costs, because it makes us less lovable, less desirable, less wanted. And we talk to ourselves that way as well. It's important to embrace those things. It's important to accept that they are a part of us. And just because you feel sad right now, just because you feel lost, it doesn't mean that you are lost. It means that you are experiencing the emotion of feeling lost. You're experiencing the emotion of sadness. And once we can actually make that space and embrace it, you will find a lot of peace will come after feeling those emotions. I find in this process it can sometimes really help to journal and to sometimes write a letter to your partner. It's not something I would personally ever send, but I think it's something that it's important so you can actually say what you want to say. And you can be as brutal as you want in this letter because you're not going to send it. It's just an opportunity for you to say what you need to say and gain some sense of closure within yourself. Sometimes it can be quite a nice ritual after you've written that letter to let it go by burning it. This kind of ritualistic process might be really nice as a release to help you symbolically let go of those emotions and those thoughts that maybe you've been holding up into yourself and not really allowing anybody else to see. A lot of the time when we experience a breakup, the greatest grief that we're experiencing, it's not necessarily the grief of that person. A lot of the time it's the grief of the future that you had pictured with that person. It's a grief over the fond memories that you shared and the time and the energy that you invested. Nice. You invested so much of yourself into this. You invested your heart, you showed them vulnerability that maybe you've never shown anyone. You invested time and money in doing things with this person. Maybe you had a house together, maybe you built a business, who knows what you guys created together. But there's a lot of time and energy investment that you put into this partnership that's now over. And the future that you pictured with that person is also never going to happen now. And that can really bring up deep feelings of grief, feelings of loss. And it's important to let yourself feel that grief and recognize that there was a potential there. But it's also important to recognize that you need to give yourself that closure, to close that loop, by realizing that a lot of the time, the future that you're picturing that you were going to have is nothing more than really a fantasy. It's a projection based on experiences that you had in the past. And a lot of the time we romanticize a future that we would have had with our partner based on the best moments of the relationship. What are you doing? Hello? God, you're always on your phone. Hello? What's going on? Hello?
What?
What are you doing?
Just texting.
Who are you texting? We're meant to be playing together.
Yeah, I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah, you're sat on your phone. Who are you texting?
Work.
Work?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're texting work? Why are you texting work? It's Sunday.
Just someone from work.
Who are you texting from work?
Emily.
The fuck is Emily?
Oh, fuck's sake. This again.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I really do believe that a relationship that is supposed to last lasts, and a relationship that's supposed to end will end. Because inevitably, if that person is really the one who is supposed to be sharing that future with you that you envisioned, creating that life with you and bringing that energy into your life as a co-creation, that person wouldn't have given up on you. They wouldn't have left you. They would have seen that worth. They would have shared that future vision, but they didn't. Because the future vision that you're holding on to, most likely in 99% of cases, isn't the reality that would have actually happened had you stayed together, because there's reasons that it ended. There were problems, there were red flags. So it's important to give yourself closure and close that story loop by saying, that was a chapter in your story. That wasn't the final chapter. It was like chapter 4 or chapter 5 in the story of your life. And that story is going to continue. And there's an ending which is going to be beautiful and amazing. And it doesn't have to have this person in it. So you can give yourself closure by feeling like this isn't actually the end of the book yet. You're just at a point where the main character, you, is learning a lot right now. And it's a great opportunity, a crucible for growth and change. Okay, so the final stage of this process is after you've had that time to evaluate, you've had that time to learn and reflect on what you can learn and bring into the future. And you've also given yourself time to just go through the motions and feel the pain and the frustration and everything else that's coming up in your life. It's now time to get out of the heartbreak when you feel ready to start moving forward with your life. And there's a secret to how you do that. And that secret is to feel that you have purpose in your life, to feel that you're moving towards something that gives you fulfillment and gives you a greater sense of purpose. The key to mending your broken heart is that moving forward with the things that you're doing with your time, not from a place of wanting to distract yourself or run away from the feelings. It's to fully embrace the things that you've learned, fully embrace the feelings that you've had to experience with that whole process of going through the breakup. But now, when you feel clear and you feel ready, to start taking actionable steps towards a future that you want to build for yourself and find a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning that you can progress to. It's not taking action for the sake of avoidance. It's about taking action for the sake of, once again, learning to love your life. Or maybe for the first time ever, learning to truly love your life. And there's so much power in going through this process. I've been shown evidence of this so many times within my own life when I've gone through breakups, but also within all of my friends, my clients, my family. Whenever I've seen somebody go through heartbreak, I always recognize that the aspect that actually gets them to start moving forward and getting over that heartbreak, to mend their broken heart, is redefining that sense of purpose and growing in their life. Just think about it. What's the reason that you find it so hard to move forward from this relationship right now, in this particular moment, before you've gone through this whole process? A big part of it is because that person gave you a sense of purpose. They gave you a sense of meaning, of something bigger than yourself. And now that that person's gone, you're attaching your sense of purpose and meaning to that person. But now you have an opportunity to take that responsibility of your purpose back into your hands and empower yourself and actually start moving forward with your life after you've gone through those first 3 stages of this process, and start to really create something for yourself, something powerful, something meaningful. This could be anything. It really depends on you as an individual. Maybe it's as simple as starting off just going to the gym and working out and progressing with your health and your body. Maybe you begin a new business, or you start to work on passion projects that are driving your greater sense of meaning in who you want to be. Really deepening your connections and your friendships with the people that are in your life right now, investing time and energy into those things. You can have that sense of meaning and connection with your friends. There's so many aspects of how we can feel like we're growing. It can even be something as simple as picking up new hobbies, learning new instruments, learning a new language, just feeling yourself progressing and changing and growing into a place where your life has a more deep sense of meaning and purpose. Over time, what will happen is your life will become so enriched and so exciting that you realize that it's been a couple of days since you thought about your ex-partner. And then it's been a couple of months. And before you know it, you haven't really thought about her at all for maybe a year, 6 months. Because what's happening is, as we start to shape this new life for ourselves, we start to invest energy, not focusing on the past or focusing on a future that now will never happen, feeling that actually you are creating a life for yourself as an individual without your ex that is so much more enriching and so much more empowering and more purposeful than anything that you could have imagined with her. And over time, this new life that you see yourself building, it becomes more and more plausible. It becomes more of a possibility until it becomes your reality. And at that point, you feel that the future that you've now created is way more valuable and way more meaningful than the relationship future that you pictured with this person. And there's also a deep knowing in yourself as you begin to enrich your life and yourself that you also know that you've learned lessons from that relationship that you're going to bring into the future. You know that you're going to meet somebody who's going to provide for you all of the things that you deserve from a partnership. But you're not in a rush, because you know that your life is amazing and it's enriched anyway, and it will just come to you when the time is right, and that you're going to respond to it from a place of authenticity. This breakup has given you the opportunity and the space to be the person that you couldn't be when you were with your partner. There are so many things that you didn't do, things that you neglected, opportunities you didn't take, things that you didn't explore, things that you didn't communicate. So many things that you never allowed yourself to show and express in your life because of that partnership. And now that you have that space, this breakup is an opportunity. It's a catalyst for you to grow and become the person that you really want to be. So just allow it to be. Okay, guys, that's it. That's my 4-stage process to help you heal heartbreak. I know that this can be a really messy process, and if you're right at the beginning of this journey, you might feel like the final step that you're going to get to feels impossible and unreachable at this point. But I promise you that if you go through these stages and you just allow yourself to follow this process, you're going to come out of it in whatever time that you need, much stronger and much more empowered, and you're going to see that this all happened for a reason, and it's given you a great opportunity to enhance your life. If you like this video, do be sure to give it a thumbs up so we can tell the algorithm to share it with more people just like yourself who are looking to heal from this pain and grow in this area. And if this is the first time that you've come across one of my videos and you feel that you got some value from it, I recommend that you subscribe to this channel and join this community of people just like yourself who are looking to grow and to feel empowered in their lives so they can create the life of their dreams. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.